ke rata go rwala digalase, truly speaking, because ke batla batho ba nkitse. I want people to know me gore I am blind, and that blindness, I've accepted everything about it.
How are you partially blind? What does that mean? Do you see a little bit? Right now, what are you able to see? Perhaps give us a picture of that.
Go a differa o kgona go itela gore bangwe ba short sighted ka mathothi, right? But now they say leitho le lemperekela le one. So ke bona go laola size ya selo ne ke a kgona go bona because gape you are close to me. But then how can tha hore ke lebe motho go pele ga me kwa ha nka ke ka mmona. So nna ke bona 1 meter.
Yeah.
This week on GaonaLive Conversations, we bring you an inspiring story of resilience and determination. Meet Tuelo, a remarkable lady who is partially blind, coming from a family where her mother and brother both have the same condition. Despite the odds stacked against her, Tuelo has carved out an extraordinary path. She's thriving in the corporate world, living independently, and proving every single day that no challenge is impossible to overcome. Join me as we dive into her journey.
Tuelo, thank you very much for choosing to share your story on GaonaLive Conversations. I look forward to getting educated more than anything, really, for the awareness that you're going to be creating about. I think you mentioned 3 categories of, blindness. You are partially sighted or partially blind, and that is really what we're going to be unpacking today. So thank you very much for doing this.
You're very much welcome. That's what I'm going to do. Today you're going to learn something from me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So perhaps before we even get to, you discovering that you're partially blinded, just take me back to your childhood. Give me a little bit of background, familiar, growing up, even before you started school. That's if you can remember that far. What was that like?
Yeah, I would say I still remember that ke godisitswe ke mosadi mogolo there at Moyabana. Ne ke sa bone chance ya go bona mama because she was trying all her best gore a hasele a tise dijo ko lapeng. So there ga ke a kgona go tsena sekolo le bana ba ba bonang. I never had that chance ya go tsena sekolo hela se ileng gore I would say ke sa ba bana ba ba bonang hela because I had to be moved to dikolo tsa ba Thokapon. So there I moved to Francistown to go and start my primary school. So one thing that I can remember ke gore ne ke boda. And go boda o le monyenyane, it's not nice because o kgaogana le batsadi ba gago, o kopana le people ba ileng gore ga o ba itse. But gone the good thing about it ke gore there we were taught so many things, the household chores, cleaning, cooking at a younger age. Gona na o ithala le gore ha o tsaya ngwana yo bonang o ithala le gore ene o kgona go ithala sa itse go apa wena because you were taught that at a younger age you already know those things. So ne ke ithuta le bo braille ke ile kwa ke sa itse ne ke kwala ka braille nna go goleng ga me. So ha ke tsena ko primary I was taught braille, ke rutiwa so many things. How can I work on my own ke sena motho o bonang?
That sense of independence, I get it. Anyways, before we get to that, first of all, I think there has to be a point where you realized you were partially blind, right?
Yes.
But I want you to take me back to right? A gona le difference ngwe o ile mogang ga o tshameka le bana ba bangwe mo pateng hela jaaka bana re itse bana ba gola ba tshameka mo lapeng. Do you have siblings? The siblings are I'm literally just trying to figure out gore keng se seneng sa go lemotsa gore you are partially blind or you are partially blind. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At what point did you realize what was happening?
So no one told me that I was blind. So irile ke gola. There was that time eleng gore I used to play with other kids. I would fall, ke a spatela, and then back then ke a boa gape ke a go tshameka ke awa. And then something hela came to my mind. Gape bana ba sekolo they will keep on telling us gore wena matho a gago a pelekane, they would use those words. And then I'm like, so I'm blind kante ga ke bone go iragala eng. And the toyana body bicycle, I was unable to use body bicycle because re palama mantswe rawa a ke re bone they are able to see and nna ha ke bone. So ha ke dirisa body bicycle ina injury after injury. Then I as time goes on, I realize I'm different from other kids. That is why I'm always having different injuries. It's because
So you just figured it out to look
Yes.
through, bana ba bang ba sekolo jalo, and the
Yes.
fact that you weren't able to do things as efficiently as everyone else.
Yes.
But ke santse ka tla go wela ko lapeng, I get
Emma.
gore things like go kgona go ikapesa, go kgona go itlhapisa, go kgona gore ga o itlhapisa o kgona go bona gore nya molora ke o nagana, se ke se itshasang ke se nagana, mo lapeng hela, do you know what I mean?
Emma.
How easy was it for you to do day to day? I know you are young, but ke tsa gore by the time wa go a sekolong o se o itse go ikapesa, se o itse go itlhapisa, se o itse go ithwesa ditlhako, go bofa dikgole, right?
Amen.
That's the assumption. Were you able to do all of those things, or were you challenged?
Okay. Like I said, growing up ne ke nna le mosadi mogolo. So bo go rwala dithako sometimes ke tabe ke rwala dipanana, that's how we call it. Dipanana ke di hapanya ditlhako. And she would come to us. Ne le motho o pelo telele tota, my grandma. And growing up kana go on that environment, blind people, it's me and my brother.
Le babedi
Re babedi mo lapeng ba sa
Uh-huh.
bone, and then plus my mom, but that time ne re sa nnile mama. Mama na nna mo Gaborone. Rona re ko gae. So my grandma ne le motho o pelo telele tota. She would teach us dio tse eleng gore di harologane gore this is this, and kana ke nako e ke ithutang go hanapa. And I would say I see with my hands. Diata tsa me ke tsone bontsi jana go tse eleng gore ke ne ke di dirisa go ithuta gore go mo ke apole, go mo ke namune, just through go fila hela yana. Ke yone nako e na ruta gore le dirise matsogo a lona. Even if o ka tsaya selo wa sa tumetse, ga gongwe ga ona go se bona, dirisa matsogo a lona, just learn to use your hands. That's one thing se eleng gore I was taught by my grandma.
And as far as you're concerned, this is normal. Ga o lemoga gore ke lona hela le na le kgwetlho wena o ithare everyone is like that. Mongwe le mongwe o bereka ka go anapa, mongwe le mongwe o bona ka matsogo.
Yes, by that time, because I was young, ke re go ra gore le batho ba ga re bone hela rote. Re rutwa so se tshwanang, and I can still remember ke bolela my cousin yo mongwe ke go dileleng ke mara ke re nkukurile ra anape. Nkukurile re cheke ka matsogo. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. Now, let's go to school. I ke re yaanong o ko sekolong wa re o tswa go itemogela gore go ha gore gore I am blind. O le ko sekolong.
Yes.
Take me through that. What was happening?
So ko sekolong sa ntlha hela se se ntemositseng gore ga ke bone e ne e le yone kgang ya boarding school. Mo Botswana ga re ka lebelela ga gona dikolo tsa boarding school tsa primary except one ko Francistown Phatlogo Primary School and then other one ko Moshudi. So di two hela. So that thing ka bo gone go ile ga ntemosa gore so ke tsile mo sekolong tse eleng gore se kopantse ke bana ba ba sa bone le ba ba bona. And then the other thing gape at school ha bana ba bangwe ba dirisa pena, rona I was given braille gore ke dirise braille, ke ithute braille ke mokwalo e leng gore le one re dirisa matsogo go wanapa, re dirisa matsogo go kwala ka braille. So ke yone nako e leng gore be ke lemoga gore batho ba ba bona bone ba kwala ka dipena le dibuka, rona go ra gore re dirisa braille ra anapa ha re bone. So yeah.
Yeah. And how did you feel now realizing that you were different? Because kana go ra gore o lemoga gore you are different from others, right? Ke gona ha nna le that aha moment.
Tota I would say go ne go le bokete, go ne go le bothoko, because at that time I was young. Ke go lemogile ke le monyenyane, and bothoko ba teng thata bo ne bo dirwa ke tsone di-challenges tse ne ke kopana le tsone mo sekolong, mafoko a ne ra buisiwa around the community. So go ne go le bokete, ne ke sikwe ke no go le thata gore nka amogela hela lo motho gape I was young. You see? So ha go amogela so se utwang o santse o le ngwana o ipotsa gore o blame Modimo. Truly speaking, I had to blame God gore God, why me? I felt gore mo ke bati.
Who introduced God to you?
My parents ke goletse mo kerekeng. Batsadi ba me ba re godiseditse mo kerekeng.
So no tlhaloganya Modimo e le mang, what was your relationship with God? Because then you start blaming God. So blame I just want to get what your understanding of God and spirituality was at that tender age.
I blame God because growing up, and my mom always said, whatever you need, you should kneel down and pray. So I said to myself, I'm like, every day I'm kneeling down to this God. But then this same God made me blind. Why? So it's like, I'm blame God. Why should I kneel down to you while you made me blind?
Okay, we'll talk about when that was mended, right? That's if at all you got to mend your relationship with God. But now, you realize you are blind because, now, there's a difference between me and other kids. What do you say to the parents? Because you are blind or you are partially blind or whatever. Is this a conversation that you have? Mama or anybody who or were you okay with the fact that you're finding out the way you were?
Truly speaking, I never had a chance ya go ta ke bolela mama ke re ko sekolong gatu because remember ne ke nna mo boarding school so ke bona mama le dikolo di tswala. Ga gare ga dikgwedi tse bongwe bo 3 months ke le ko sekolong I don't see her. So ne go sena nako ya gone go chance ya go tota. Otherwise ne ke bua le matron ko hosteleng gore kana go sekolong re thotse ke tewa go te ha ke bone go iragalang ba rayang ba ra ke bone ke na le matho kana ba raya so ne ke botsa ene thata ke ene na re na ntsha di advice gore nya go ntse jana le jana.
Tell me a little bit about Braille. Braille, I want you to take me back to as you were figuring it out, right? And share that with us.
Okay.
As people who completely have not interacted with Braille.
Okay, I would say Braille, ha ke tsena ko primary, rutwa Braille. They would bring dozen of eggs. And how lebella a dozen of eggs, ena le diphatla tse 6. Ne? And then, so more what we call a hand frame. E leng gore re tsenya pampiri mo go yone re kwala ka yone. Le yone ena le each cell contains 6. E le yone box ya teng ena le diphatla tse 6. So, but they make things easy ba re ruta ka yone a dozen of eggs. So, a dozen of eggs, ga o e bala on your right, it's 1, 2, 3. Go tswa go godimo go ya go tlase. And then on your left, it's 4, 5, 6. So, they would say, A, when you write A ka Braille, it's 1. So, it means you are going to do what? Wa punch how one. How the D is 1, 4, 5. You are going to punch 1, 4, 5. Go na le mo re bitsang re stylus. Stylus ke mo ileng gore re thaba tsone di number tse ka tsone. Ha go te E ke 1, 5 o thaba ka ene stylus se o thaba 1, 5.
Yes. And that's just how. So Lidi, okay, we are on the alphabet. So numbers and alphabet di bereka go tshwana, ka tsone these
Ko Brailling, how se we ithutile the alphabet, it's gonna be easy for you to learn the number because there is what we call a numeral sign. A numeral sign is a sign e leng gore we tsenya before kwala number. So if go twe A, it's just the dot 1. And then 1 ene ya gonna numeral sign then dot 1. That's the difference. They differ because of the numeral sign. Yes.
Now, I'm curious now about you becoming a teenager, right? There's that element of being bullied. At some point, you get into teenagehood. You're a girl. As you become an adolescent, there are certain things that we expect, right? Like getting your periods, right? How was that? If you're comfortable sharing that journey, who talks to you about it? Who takes you through it? And how easy was it to navigate, things like that, right? As a partially, blind person?
Mine tota period ya me it came ka stage se ileng gore ne ke sa se solohela because I'm an athlete, so in tetse on my trip to Tunisia ne ke le mo planning. But then the good thing my mom told that lady o ne ke tsamaile le ene coach ya me a mmolela gore I think ngwana ke o mo staging sa gore ya no ngata simolle period ya gagwe. So ha go simologa she was there for me a mpolela ang guide ene coach ya me gore ya your mom already told me gore go kana ga dira yana a mpolela gore this is the stage e leng gore wa o kopana le basimane ba tsile go ta go yena but please try your best to reject them because one mistake ngwana. And like my mom said the same thing. How tumela basimane ngwana. Yes. Hey, ya no le nna ke tabe ke tshabela gakala go te hey, ha o ka ba ipona o ya ba le mosimane o itse re ngwana wa tsena. Emma.
Perhaps something that I should have asked you, at the beginning is how are you partially blind? What does that mean? You know what I mean? Do you see a little bit? Right now, what are you able to see? Perhaps give us a picture of that, right?
Okay. Short-sighted meaning, So go a differa o kgona go ithala gore bangwe ba short sighted ka mathote, right? Matho a bone o tha kgona go bona. But now I would say leitho le mperekela le one. So ke bona go laola size ya selo ne. Right now I would say ke a go bona because a kere your size o motona. Yes, ke a kgona go bona because gape you are close to me. But then how ka ntha hore ke lebe motho o ko pele ga me kwa ha nka ke ka mmona. So normally le ha re ile di check up tsa matho kana check up a matho ke go eleng gore o botswa bo goreng e lebile kae thaka e lebile kae. So rona re botswa menwana. Ba re botsa ka menwana e kae ba eta ba stella ha moragonyana to that level e leng gore ta bo mora ha ke bone. So nna ke bona 1 meter. Yes, just
okay, that's as far as you can see. Anything beyond that gonna lutuela.
Emma 1 meter le gone go dependa botona ja selo.
Okay. Highly something smaller, even if it's within that meter radius. How gonna go on?
Emma.
Okay. Let's go back to you are there. You just mentioned you're an athlete. Tell me about your experience as an athlete. And how did that come about?
So ke simolotse go taboga ke bala standard 4. Ne ke taboga 100 meters, 200 meters and 400 meters. So go tabogeng ga rona kana ke di Paralympics, di bidiwa di Paralympics. So we are divided into 3 categories. There's what we call T11. T11, there are those that are totally blind. They can't see anything. They can't. Ba kgona go feel gongwe bo shadow yana. So the T11 ha ba taboga ba nna le di guide. You give them a guide ya teng wa mo tshwara ka lebogo o taboga lane. They are given 2 lanes goreng guide e tsena mo lane 1 and then the athlete lane 2. And then there's what we call T12 where I fall now. That's my category. T12 ke ba ileng gore they are partially sighted. And then it's a choice for them gore do I need a guide kana ga ke thoke guide ke shapo ke le nose. But even if I don't get a guide ke hiwa 2 lanes still. Kana it's because o khona gore ha o tabogile o bo sa bone bo khona o tsena mo line eng. But ha o ka dira phoso wa go tsena mo go ya botiri, that's a disqualification. Ba go disqualify. And then there's what we call T13. T13 ke ba ileng gore I would say first group e leng gore fola mo T13 ke the albinism. Those people about the albino ba fola mo T13 because bone kana site ya bone they can write but reading mo go bone they read ka large font. You have to enlarge everything for them to be able to read. Ke bone ba ileng gore ba bidiwa di T13 bone ba taboga hela like motho o bonang o tsa lane ye 1 ga ba neelu di guide. Yes.
Now I want you to tell me about the actual experience being an athlete. Why was it something that you liked?
I wouldn't say in ele so se ke se ratang. Gora gore ile ke gola I've realized gore ke na le talent ya go taboga ne ke taboga thata. So gone ho irile hala ke simolla ke bala standard 4 ebile be ke joina national team. Gora gore ke a simolla ke a mahatsing bo South Africa, Swaziland, different countries. So far I would say I have 36 medals.
Wow.
Go taboga tota ne le talent ile ke gola be ke le moga gore go mo ke talent ya me go ntsenyetsa madi go ka tsoga go ntshetsa ka moso. So I took that serious ke nna ke tsama for the competition ke kopana kana the yanong re kopana le bana ba ileng gore ba bona. So sengwe le sengwe se tsama hela sente go di campaign ra campa hela like each and every person. Just that mo Botswana I would say challenge ke ile mogileng ka mabelo a rona as disabled ke gore we are not being recognized like bo Tebogo Letsile. Like right now maloba ha go ile go di Olympicing you see gore bo Tebogo Letsile they receive that support from Botswana. But then when it comes to our people, even if you can ask one person right now gore o itse mang yona ile di Paralympic yona emetse go di Paralympic a emetse Botswana, they don't know us ga ba re itse ha ke ra motho ke re ne ke taboga re mang wena. They don't believe that.
Absolutely. So what do you want Botswana to know and how would you want them to support?
I want them to start following our page, Paralympic Games. Ba nne ba re lebella. Ha re taboga ba te ko lebaleng ba re he support our Facebook pages by the follow le tsone. Even on TikTok, now they can follow me. My name, like I said, it's Corporate Lady Hope. So ba re follow it to try and understand our lives. Ba ska feel gore motho sa boneng go tewa morwalo. Yeah.
So as you're growing up, what were your aspirations? What is it that you wanted to be? You know, did you have any kind of dreams? You just mentioned that but it wasn't necessarily a passion. It was just something that you were gifted with. But toro ya go yone ne leng as you were growing up?
Toro ya me ha ke gola ne ke le motho o ke ratang gore etsa radio thata. So go goleng ga me ne ke godile ke le motho o confident tota o ke seng boy. I'm an extrovert. So ke tabe ke reetsa batho ba le ba radio be ke reish wa itse mama, one day I just want to see myself le nna ke le ko radiong hela ke thuthuntsha ya ka batho ba ntha re bereka ka thata ngwanake. Everything would come through as long as you work hard. So that's what I did. And then ha ke tsena ko varsity be ke re broadcasting and journalism. This is the time for me to try and study hard ke te ke achieve se ne ke se batla. E be ke dira course yone ya broadcasting and journalism.
And how did you find that?
Ko Limkokweng, I would say di-tertiary mo Botswana go na le di-tertiary tse e leng gore ga di tse batho ba sa boneng go na le tse di ba tsayang. So ko Limko e rile ke ya teng lucky enough e be ba re no lona we got you ra letsa. So e be ke ya teng then ke apply gone kwa and course ya teng e ne e le sharpo except hela ne go na le di-module tse dingwe tsa bo photography ke gone ko e leng gore go na bo keteteo course go tlhoka matho. And then le bo di-documenting ko e leng gore go lebelwa di-movie yana ko e leng gore go tlhoka matho, but at least ba ne ba choose di-movie tse e leng gore they also accommodate us, we can be able to listen ka ditsebe and answer to the exams.
Let's talk about navigating relationships. Mjolo, ngwana, of course, at some point, you know what I mean? Was that a reality for you? Was that something, you know, that happened as effortlessly as it would any other young person? Or did you find that you were challenged?
I would say now on my side, ke rata ne ke le motona because ne ke sa tlhaloganye gore kante ga do iragalang a ntse ba re mjolo ba jola mjolo wa nyisa, but le nna le ha ke ratane ke le motona, I think at the age of 21 le nna o nyisitse, I don't wanna lie. Le nna kana kwa te le nna o bonthuba bompela ha ba sonta or sit down because ha ke jola yana ke tabe ke kopana le bone ba ba bonang ba ba ileng gore ba ta go rona ka pelo a gore o shame o ta ratiwa ke mang, let me love her. So gone mo ka gore motho a bata a sa teka pelo a lorato o ta go ba mojolo go busetsa ha ba tse gore there is no love here. Sit down.
And how did you come to the conclusion a gore motho a batla ka go utlwela botlhoko e se ka, you know, true intentions tsa gore, you know, ke batla Tuelo le nnaela just like, you know, any other lady out there?
I would say ke lemositswe ke gore that treatment e leng gore you batho ba ba bonang that you receive is different from ours. Like taking for instance on my birthday, the guy would call abare, I sent you 50 pula, you can go and see what you want to buy. But ha ile motho o bonang o tla bare, hi baby girl, let me take you out for dinner, it's your birthday. Wa bona it's different, ba re treata like rona re ba re tswalwang ba re ba ko morago ga ntlo ga re kgone go bona motho mo molong. I still remember there was that relationship ene ke ratana le motho a teng, and unfortunately re ile molong ke hante bala mo shopong. I'm like, what?
Hey, it's funny.
Yes, it is, because
it's, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That
and
stage.
What does that mean? Like, what happened?
Hey, go no ke gona be ke bona gore a itse mjolo o toxic guys. Motho ka raro a nthata ba ntse bala mo shopong. Ke lorato le le ntseng ya lone.
O leboga yang gore o lebetse mo shopong like.
Yeah, gore nna ka gore ha ke tsana mo shopong, I take my time ke tshwara dilwana to try and see gore go mo go ka tshwana, can this look good on me? So ha ke re ka re shebe anong ka sheba ke bone motho, I'm trying to call his name, ke a mitsa a ke mmone motho kae ke a letsa, I call him okay, sorry ke go lebetse ke eta ke a go boela tebetse.
And don't you think that was just an innocent oversight? Okay, I was just trying to be the devil's advocate. It didn't necessarily have anything to do with, you know, your...
But on the other hand, I just think it was just that na ise a tlhaloganye, na ise a ankitse, like kana motho o bonang ha o na le ene, ha o tsuta le ene wa move.
That's
you don't have to say follow me, unlike now tshwantse o ronte hore Tuelo a re tsamaye.
Wa bona. So what have you learned then, you know, from about yourself, you know, about, you know, picking partners from that experience ya you saying motho o tla go go wena ka go utlwela botlhoko, right? Is that something that you're now able to pick, to pick up ha motho a tla go go wena? And is it something now that, years later, because you're talking about early 20s right now, you are in your late 20s, is it something se leng gore anong at this stage o ka re wa khona go lemoga gore o tla ka maikelelo a gore do you get what I'm saying?
So right now I would say ke khona go lemoga ha motho a ta ka a different intention ya gore nya o to go sympathize. And one thing se ke se dirileng gore ke te ke lemoge, I take my time, ke kopa botsala pele ha motho a mpata ke re let's be friends first. And then by that time ke gone ha go itshupang gore motho o sente ke mang. And then late that time ke tabeng ke ra motho ke re ha ke bone. Ba bangwe ba go bloka ha o sena nna le moraro ga ke bone wa go bloka number ya gago. Ba bangwe o go ra kana go ra ile re wa re ga o bone, it means I would have to leave everything that I'm doing ke ta go nna le wena. Because I get by that time na ha ke similar relationship ga ke ne open ke bolela motho gore ke bereka kae. I don't do that because the moment I do that ke a meetsa wa go tla because of what I have. So o tabata re ke ratana le ene because o bereka ko Debswana. So I just say few information la gore ga ke bone gore ke te ke bone gore motho ke motho o ntseng jang.
Okay. You've gained wisdom clearly, Hela, over the years, and now you are able to tell the difference between motho genuine and loyal. Now, here's something, right? And I normally, ask this, mobatumba are differently able, right? You talk about not wanting somebody to come with you ka sympathy. I get it. Is there anything wrong with motho go utlwela botlhoko because o lemoga gore o na le, challenge ya mohuta o, right? And if there is, how do you want to be treated? Because sometimes I feel that these are just people genuinely who think Tuelo ha bone sentle, so tla ke mo tshware ka letsogo ke mo totobise. Wena ha o batla go tshwara ka letsogo that time, right? So I want you to talk to your community and to society ya rona gore what is your expectation, right? Because motho, like I'm saying, mo gongwe ya be le hela gore motho itha a re let me extend a helping hand. Meanwhile, when I feel like I want you to treat me like with the next person. So get us into that. How do you want to be treated?
I would say most of Batswana, like I said, ba kutlwela botlhoko thata. Like o tabotsa na mo khombing motho a ba re ao shems ga ba bone kana o tshwere yone thobane ao shems ga bone. That thing to us, I would say to the blind because ke bone ba ke godileng le bone. That thing to us ga go gwa like it irritates one our shems yo ga re morati. Instead, be friends with us. And also know that ha ke bata thuso ke ta ikopa. Don't iskare ha o kopana le nna o bori o ira mo molo mme gona sa bone ne bathong. It's my choice. I decided to go there. Wena ha ile gore I need help from you, I will open up and tell you. Ha gona motho ka pono yo boy. All of us are confident. A re bata thuso, we talk things out. So ba ska ba rutela bothoko, ba ska na ba dirisa maoko a bo ao shems, o irang kwano, wa ya loga mme a sa bone, o ikapesa ya mme a sa bone. Such questions, guys, we are also women beings. Le rona ra khona. We are capable of doing everything se leng gore motho o bonang le ene o ka se dira. It's just that ke matho hela. But how re Tuelo apaho, I'm able to do that because of what? My hands. I use my hands, not my eyes.
Wow. Now, what you're saying is I shouldn't offer assistance unless you ask.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Ke mo gogele ka. Ke go tlogele. Go allow you gore ga o thula o nthe ore yo, hey, ntibise ho gore that's what you prefer.
Uska dirisa bo ao shems. And the ways, bogolo ha ile gore wa mpona gore ke a thula. Dirisa magoko a siameng gore o ska ta ka go sympathize. O ska re ao shems tama wa thula. No, re sorry nna ka wa thula tsamaela go lefting.
Okay.
Just say it hela go tswa mo pelong go siame. Go ska nna le moa wa kutlwelo bothoko mo teng.
All right. Because it's a sensitive one, right? The reason why ke go ralo is because ke itse gore jaaka ke tlhalosa mo gong ke go tlhoka go tlhaloganya motho ene mo go ena ba a re hela re let me extend empathy to this person, right?
Yes.
And it then sometimes comes out as sympathy. And like you're saying, the use of onema fuko, how shame, hey, tota, hey, you know, that is something that definitely you find offensive. But thank you for giving us, you know, how is it that you like to be treated? Let's talk about, you know, your career now. You work for Depswana. Tell us about that experience. How did that come about? And also, you know, what has it been like navigating the corporate space?
I would say Depswana, it came from my dream. Like right now, I'm working corporate affairs. So corporate affairs, it's something related with Bonebo broadcasting and journalism. Remember, they go broadcasting on Alebo PR. So a summary of that. Whatever you do, go broadcasting, it's same as what you do. And like people think, how do you broadcasting? It's all about radio. No, it's not about that. That is why the modules are broadcasting and journalism. Really different. It's business. So I would say after my graduation, for like 3 to 4 months, unemployed. And then I heard Depswana is looking for all the disabled by degree. Then I went for an interview. There, but hela, I was able to answer all the questions there. And then after that, trying to understand what do you really need? In terms of laptop and all other things. Then I told them, as long as Slim provide a laptop, JAWS ke software it's used to kwala le go bala. Like PC tabe bua go bolela ha o tobetsa A ya bua and all that. And then se sengwe gape se neng ke ba se bolela ke gore as long as someone you will for 2 weeks and helping me to navigate around the place, because to me the place first, that's when it became flexible. And I would say going there the first few weeks, it was a bit challenging. I can still remember my first week. I wasn't able to go to ground floor because I met so many people. Where do I start? Because that time it was my first job. This is my first job. And but me knowing deep down to
you know, incorporate
yes,
okay.
Le place second floor, and by that time ke third floor go godimo hela go tla jang ga kena go bona lift. But then my boss Matsidiso ka mona o ile a ntsa a nnela a badi. She gave me a badi kgalalelo sa ela se ileng gore o na ntsaya a nna ntwa etsa place ne ke motho ileng gore o pelotelle that lady o na tsamaya le nna all around a nthuta batho gore ngwana o bidwa Tuelo Ramaeba ga a bone ha o mmona ko tase o mmotse gore a o shapo a o bata thuso nngwe. So that's what happened. Le bone batho ba Depswana, I would say batho ba le ba lorato tota, ba na le moa wa lorato, moa wa neelano e leng gore ke a o rata. So they made things easy to me. Right now as we speak, ke a kgona go tswa from ko ke nnang teng ko deskeng ya me ke tsamaya ke a ground floor kana ke a kae ko ke batang teng because of them, ka gore ba butse dipelo tsa go re thusa, because kana there I'm not the only one yo e leng gore ga ke bone. So ba kgona go re thusa hela ba tlhaloganya gore le rona re batho, and ga ra tsena ko tirong kwa ka channel o re rutegile le rona. We went to school for us to be there ko Depswana.
Now earlier you spoke about, you know, being angry at God and just blaming God and saying, why me? You know, why do I have to be now? I'm partially blind, right? I want us to unpack that a little bit. And also, do you ever still in this season, you know, just kind of feel cheated, right? Do you still feel like, why did I have to be served this, right? Or have you reached self-acceptance? You've embraced, you know, where you are and who you are.
Let's talk about the issue of God. So Mudimo ene ke simolotse go mo rata tota nako e ne Debswana e re come on e be ke re Bragodi o teng goa then that time ke simolla ke re nya modimo wa tshela ke bolela le batho gore o bona keng sengwe le sengwe modimo o kgona go raletsa dikgwetho kante ene a itse sa se go beetseng ko pele gore ngwana ke ene wa go dira 1 2 3 le even ka go lemoga gone gore ke tsene sekolo ke hela ke graduate ke that time e leng gore ke lemoga gore modimo o teng wa tshela regardless of dikgwetho tse ke kopaneng le tsone ko sekolong ke kgonne go graduate and right now I would say I've reached a point where I don't listen to what anyone say. No matter gore motho o nkgesa go le kae ke tsena ko semausung ke tsama mo strateng a re wena matho a go apelekane and ha ke rate go rwala digalase truly speaking because ke batho ba nkitse I want people to know me gore I am blind and that blindness I've accepted everything about it so nna gona na tota ke ikamogetse kore le ha mojolo o nnyesa kana go iragalang dikgwetho tse ke kopanang le tsone I stand up and continue I don't just sit down ke re eish go iragetse tota why there is no time for that e o e hitile it belongs to my past I move yes
let's talk about where you get support from, right? Do you have a circle of people ba eleng gore you draw strength from kana ba eleng gore nkare wa go bona ha go le bokete let's just talk about that. Do you have people around you ba eleng gore kare that you go to ke di ride or die tsa gago?
I would say starting ko tirong I have a mentor Bontle Marua Tona ke eno e leng gore the lady e leng gore ha mo tirong go utwa e kare ke taskilwe ka task e leng gore e thoka matho a me ke ka dira yang gore ke buele mang go thata go ha ke a go ene ke mmolela gore Bontle I think this is 1 2 3 ha go tsamaiseng can you help ke eno e leng gore ke tare ko tirong ke ga go thata le ene and then there is also a friend of mine go tira falo go tirong le ene ke motho e leng gore ene I would say o close to me because of the age because age difference ya rona ga ya relogane thata so ene a ke mojolo a ke tiro ke a kgona go go ene ke mora ke re tsala me go ntse jana le jana ke batiwa ke semama gore ke open mo go ene go bua le ene and then also le ko TikTok I would say ke motho e leng gore ke rata go joina di live I've started this thing ya gore ke nne open ka go tlhoka go bona ga me to teach people out there gore go diragala eng batho ka pono ke batho ba ileng gore ba ntse yang so I'm flexible talking about my blindness out there ko bathong ke batho ke setse ke dirile ditsala le gone mo TikTok ba ileng gore ba nthaloganya I mean friends ba ileng gore I don't just mean friends but ke ra ditsala tota mo ileng gore motho o gona go ta go ntsa ko phakalane a re tsamaye re tsene mo bathong so I have friends.
That is wonderful.
Emma.
Now, really, this condition has affected 3 of you, Malaping.
Emma.
Mama, your brother, and you.
Yes.
Let's take it to the family, right?
Yes.
Mama and your brother, Bone, are they also partially blind? And how has their experience been, partially blindness? How it's
I would say to my family, 3 of us re partially le bonela ba partially blind. And then my brother gora gore ene ha le ko primary o na dira operation so sight ya gagwe it's much better than mine le ya ga mama. So my mom ke motho wa di business, is a business lady. So ke motho e leng gore le ene o mpha strength each and every day when I wake up. Gore mama ha khonne this and that le nna nka se khona. And then I have a younger brother. My younger brother ene wa bona. So ha ke ntse ke le go bonyenyaneng kwa ke motho e leng gore na sa tlhaloganye right mo family ng gore ha ke bone like ha gongwe mama o tabare o go thuse bo mogolo e o batla se nnenne he will be like kante bone ba nna ba sa bone hela but right now ke motho e leng gore wa tlhaloganya tota wa nthata ke motho o shapo tota ta ba re sizana wa ntshwara ka lebogo ha re tola tsela ko di shopong ke ene wa kera ga ba tutwa sepe tota so ko family ke tare re family hela e leng gore e kopane tota e leng gore ra utwana di holiday ra bo re spenda di holiday mmogo go le monate go PC hela ebile ha o tsena go jarateng you won't even realize gore gona le batho ka pono mo jarateng never ke batho ba ileng gore modimo thusitse mama re itiretse mo lapeng family ya rena hela e sharp.
That's wonderful. And were you ever able to figure out gore go tlile jang gore lo tlhebe lena le yone? Is this something that is genetic? Ke ra gore the fact that le bararo mo lapeng and affected by the exact same thing?
I would say ke so se leng gore it comes from your tsone dikgang tsa di-gene because my mom o tshotse a sa bone and then a ba gore nkgonne le ena a ta sa bone e bo gore nna e be ke ta ke bona and then my younger brother I think ke ta ke sa bone my younger brother ke ene a ba ta hela ta siana emma.
Okay. Do you have aspirations of having your own family at some point? Wa re kana no susiwe ka ngwana gore hey that tshameke ngwana wa goroga, you know what I mean? Is this something that you have aspirations for, like having your own family eventually at some point?
Yeah, I do have those thoughts of one day I really wish I can have my own family. But then Mujolo on the other hand is saying no, wait, this is not the right time. So gona na ha ke ise ke nne le bana, but I wish gore le nna one day nka nna le ngwana yo eleng wa me with the right person yo tang tlhaloganyang a nkamogetse jaaka ke ntse, not just with any other person.
Absolutely. Let's talk to people who are either categories right? People who are dealing with blindness, right? With blindness on whatever level, whether they're completely blind, partially blind, or the third category, you touched on them earlier. Talk to those people, right? I think you're a true inspiration in that this didn't limit you. Right? Also, perhaps because there was an enabling environment for you, right? Which speaks to support system. So I need you to talk to, what would you like to advise them?
I would say to them, first thing first, it's acceptance. They should accept what God has done. God did that for a purpose. When now o feel lonely, kana o blame God. But they would come that time reveal this is why I made you like this. I want them to speak out there. Let people know your story. Oska shy away from your story. Forget about the judgment. Forget about what people would say about your condition. Just go there and be open. As long as you are able to share your story, that's when it's going to be easy for them to accept. And then when it comes to relationships, I would say they should try and avoid this issue because to my experience, I would say the more le ratana ka bolona, the more le tisang bana ba ba sa boneng mo lehatsheng because ke so se leng gore se le motsegile le ko botsogong. So I would say they should know gore there are people out there. Yes, mojolo ka tsonyisa, but there are still men out there ba ileng gore they can be able to love us but accept that the way re ntseng ka teng. And one other advice I would say, they should go to school. They should graduate ba tsena sekolo, no matter the challenges tse di ko sekolong gore ma-teachera ba reng bana ba sekolo ba reng, as long as we ile sekolong, sekolo ke sone se ileng gore it will open all those closed doors for you. Ke gona o ta iponang gore o mang.
Thank you so much for doing this, for having this conversation and just getting us into your world, Tuelo's world, literally from childhood to where you are right now. Like I said earlier, you are truly an inspiration. You've been able to transform your life because of that sense of self-belief, that perseverance, that resilience, truly, truly inspirational. I think your last message to the community, right? Because go kana community right? What would you like to leave, our audience members with?
Firstly, the community ke batlang go ya addressa ke batsadi ba ileng gore ba na le bana ba na le bogone. I would say to them gore stop hiding those people. Ba ntshetseng konte. Ngwana yo is a gift from God, is a blessing from God. You never know gore modimo tso ga go blessitse go le kae. Mo ise sekolong. It doesn't matter gore ke sekolo sa tiro ya diata kana ke sekolo go go ithuta eng. As long as a kgona go ithuta sengwe hela se mo hite se mo tsenye mo ntung. And then le go khokgontsha a ba ska ba khokgontsha ba treata like the maid, because I know there are some family members ba ileng gore ba kgona go tsa gore ka gore ha o bone mistreated. So I don't want that. And then I would also speak to community hela at large. I would say re tlhoka support ya lona. Sometimes it's not a matter of you coming to me umpha madi. Sometimes it's just come to me, be a friend, be there for me. That's all I need. I don't need donation kana sympathy yone ya gore hey our shems. I don't need that. Just your company ya la re itse dikgang. Don't be afraid gore o ka bua le nna ka TV ore ko movango ne ke lebeletse this and that. Bua le nna o nthute le nna I can get through that. Ga gona di topic tse eleng gore ha di go buiwe ka le rona ka tsone. Even le ha re sa bone yana ra bua ka sengwe le sengwe a ke mojolo a bate go go rona ba bue le rona ka tsone. Mojolo ba ska ba o tsabaki. I'm saying mojolo because batho ba akanya gore ga rena di feelings kana ba re ga rena di feelings. They ask us gore kante rona la gona go jola guys ra jola rena le maikuto ke mathoela matho ha kopane go pele ditshika tsa di feelings. So community out there a re go kotseng gone kganya gore bo our shems. And then leone kganya gore ha le re bona le nna o ka re le nna fragile thata la tshoga re batho le rona ra amogeleng jaaka re ntse.
Yeah, exactly. What else do you like doing? You know what I mean? When you're not at work, Hella, as a young lady, Hella, what is it that you like doing?
TikTok.
Hey,
TikTok. That's what I want.
You love TikTok. More TikTok. Do you do TikTok challenges? You know, because of course we like a live, but like, what do you enjoy about TikTok?
You did the TikTok challenges.
Tuelo, thank you so much and high five. Thank you very much for doing this and, you know, for the act of service to humanity, really. You know, creating awareness about, you know, being partially blind and what that experience has been, but also really just showing that it is possible, that you can get anywhere, you can do anything you want, even as somebody who's, you know, partially blind. So thank you so much for that, Olga.
I really appreciate, and also thank you for giving me this opportunity out there.
Absolutely. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode. And don't forget to share, to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you'd also like to share your story, you can DM the GaonaLive or GaonaLive Conversations pages on Facebook, or just email GaonaLiveConversations@gmail.com. Catch you on the next episode.